And so, we finally draw a conclusion to Shouwa Genroku Shinjuu, Season 2. Actually, probably the whole entire series in general, to be honest with you. I mean, I think this series is from a manga. I could be completely wrong on that. Maybe this anime is original, just for the sake that, doing Rakugo has really never been done before in the form of anime. But, I mean, whatever, okay? I think this is going to be the very last time we see Shouwa. And I'm fine with that. Because what they did in this episode, the transitions, the atmosphere, the music, just the development that went throughout, the future generation, like, 10 out of 10 material. Like, I'm this close, actually, to actually giving the full series a 10 out of 10. Because I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. I had great laughs. I love the storytelling. And the characters are memorable. They have great characterization as well. And it was just something that I looked forward to every single week for this season. And honestly, if we're counting continuations, then this, despite even if we're not counting, continuations, Shouwa Genroku Shinjuu would be my top pick for this season of anime. With no doubt. No doubt. Shouwa has delivered this season, and just the overall character development between the characters has just been very fascinating to see. So in this episode, we basically see Shinosuke, Konatsu's, and Yotoro's child. We actually see Shinosuke and their child older now. Apparently, I guess their child is in high school now, and maybe Shinosuke might be, in college now or something like that. I really don't know. I don't really know exactly how old he is, but I'm sure he's probably, like, in his early 20s or something like that. But anyway, like, it was awesome to see that. And just the future generation in general, because not only them, but we also see Konatsu as well, and you can tell that she's gotten old as well, and then we also see Yotoro. Yotoro is the same as ever, especially Konatsu. Konatsu is the same old, snarky woman she is, and Yotoro is same old Yotoro, despite the fact that he's, on the little hefty side now, I would say, but just, he's known throughout the town now as Yakumo, which is very cool. That's one point that I do want to mention in this episode that we saw. He is no longer titled Sukeroku. If you remembered in, the first few episodes or so of Shouwa Season 2, he actually took upon the title of Sukeroku due to Yakumo's former master in order to technically honor him. And after the death of Yakumo, we see now that he has now basically put down the title of Sukeroku now, and now carries the title of Yakumo, and actually gives the title to Shinosuke to be Sukeroku, which is very cool because we see Rakugo in the modern day times in this episode. And, technically by seeing this sort of passing down the mantle of the masters, so to speak, just basically represents, not only their teachings, but also the follow-up to the next generation of, Rakugo masters, basically. So we have Yotoro actually taking upon the title of Yakumo. When you see at the very end of the episode, when Yakumo is looking directly at the camera, the viewer, that one shot just sold it all. 10 out of 10 material right then and there. Like, Yakumo said words of wisdom. He said, how could something this good possibly go away? Yo, man. Again, carrying on the generation of Rakugo, generation by generation. No matter how much is changed within the storytelling, Rakugo will still be Rakugo. Fucking love that shit. Oh yeah, there's actually one more thing I forgot about this episode that I felt that I should say that was really funny. was when we had Yotaro at the festival, and he was greeting everyone there, just having a good time and everything. Like, we see as he's greeting these people and just having a good time, there's a man that appears in a wheelchair in front of him, and the camera turns to the angle of that character, and we see that apparently the servant of Yakumo is alive. Dang. We actually see that he's alive. Because the thing is, like, I thought that he was dead was because in the very last episode of Shouwa, we basically saw Yakumo's death. And when he died, he technically moved on, in a way, with Yakumo, because he was technically rowing out his master out to sea, basically out to Death Valley, or, just to move on in general, okay? But he was moving on along with him, it seemed. So immediately after Yakumo's death, it almost seemed as though his, servant went out with him, which would have been awesome, because, like, everywhere the servant went, or everywhere Yakumo went, the servant went. He always stuck by his side. So in a way, that would have been presented, pretty awesome. But it turns out he's actually not dead. So either way, though, it really doesn't matter. But maybe, I'm guessing since he was in this episode, maybe, back in the last episode, maybe he had a near-death experience or something like that. When people, it's very rare, but when sometimes people die, they die for like a second or so, and they like see God or see something, and then they end up coming back to life and, telling their overall story. Like, you can just look up these videos on YouTube who people claim to have seen things as, they were dead for like a minute or so, and then they came back to reality, which is very fascinating. So maybe, the old dude had something like that. I really do not know. But regardless, like, just these characters, what we see down in this episode, the future generation of Rakugo in the modern day times, like, everything about this series, the storytelling in general, like, we have a story within a story, or I guess you could say stories within a story. And, like, I love this series. I do. It's definitely going to go in, my tops for anime. I mean, I don't really have, a top selection of anime, but I mean, like, this is definitely up there, I would say that. If you have not checked out Shouwa already, I don't know why you would be clicking on this video, but still, definitely check out the series because it's phenomenal. So yeah, guys, I really enjoyed this episode. If you can't already tell, like, this series was just awesome. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below as to what you thought about this episode. What did you think about the overall series in general? Just, do you think this is the last time we'll ever see, Rakugo again? Me personally, I think yes. And this episode ended off the series with a good note. So, yeah, but just let me know your overall thoughts. Thank you all for watching, and until the next video, I'll catch you guys next time.